MSW Media.
Daily beans, daily beans, daily beans, daily beans.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Beans for Friday, November 14th, 2025. Today, new details are emerging about the young girl Matt Gaetz exploited that led to the criminal investigation into him for sex trafficking a minor. A judge in the James Comey case says a chunk of the grand jury transcripts is missing. Catholic bishops are condemning U.S. immigration operations in a rare public statement. A judge in Chicago has ordered the release of hundreds of non-high-risk immigration detainees. Also, after that apartment building raid where they actually rappelled from Blackhawk helicopters, Propublica found no actual arrests were made. Trump has withdrawn his Supreme Court appeal over SNAP benefits. Bill Pulte has referred Eric Swalwell to the Department of Justice for mortgage fraud. And the Oklahoma governor has stayed the execution of Tremane Wood. I'm Allison Gill.
And I'm Dana Goldberg.
Hey, Dana, it's Friday. We made it.
We did make it. We made it. It's been a lovely couple days in Chicago. I had a fantastic event for Gender Cool last night. Raised over $100,000 for these kids to continue to be protected, doubled their goal. And everyone, I just want to say, I found out that traffic from my website was the third largest direction of traffic to this event for them, which means when I talk about my events and I talk about these organizations, you all clicked on that just to get information and see who they were. And it matters. And this organization's phenomenal. So we had a great night. I'm looking forward to my 2 shows in Chicago tonight as you listen to this. So looking forward to seeing the Beans and my Stephanie Miller fans there. And and ending a very long 2 weeks of gigs in 5 different states in 2 weeks, and I'm tired.
I bet. But well done. Raised $100,000. That's so amazing. The work you do, my friend. I just sending you all the hugs for all of it. And
thank you.
Just really, really appreciate everything that you do. Also appreciate everything John Fugelsang does, and we're going to talk to him about that rare public statement I talked about in the headlines from Catholic bishops condemning U.S. immigration raids. I've never seen anything like this. It was almost unanimous, 216 to 5, Dana.
That's embarrassing if you were one of the 5.
Right. I wonder if it was a secret vote. Like we don't know who those 5 are, but everyone can probably kind of guess.
Yeah, looking over, pointing at that was John. Yeah,
right.
One was
like
John.
Everyone looks over. John.
His cardinal red's a little too red. It's MAGA red.
Right. He has make Catholicism great again on his red hat. So, yesterday you missed quite a news day, Dana, but
I know.
People are still going through this massive chunk of emails. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But also talking about massive chunks, a massive chunk of the grand jury testimony and the grand jury transcripts is missing.
Wow.
In the Comey case. This is bonkers, okay? So 3 times the Department of Justice has failed to follow a court order to hand over the entire grand jury transcript of Lindsay Halligan in the Comey case.
Okay.
The first time they were just supposed to hand it all over, and they didn't. So the judge says, hey, hand it all over. And when they handed over just the FBI testimony. And then the judge is like, hey, hand it all over. They handed it all over except for the last 2.5 hours.
Oh, that seems important.
Which apparently is just missing a lot. I've noticed a lot of newsrooms are saying, oh, it's like a few minutes or it's like several minutes. According to the judge in the hearing today, the transcript stops at 4:28 p.m. But I happen to know from a previous filing in the Comey case that the indictment wasn't returned until 6:47 p.m. That's over 2 hours that's missing. It's just gone. So Andy McCabe and I are going to cover all that on this weekend's episode of the Unjustified podcast. But the case, again, the whole point of this case wasn't to get a conviction. It was just to be a pain in the ass and a thorn in the side and get headlines.
Yeah.
But it's falling apart.
Good. This is a sort of a good news at the top of the hour. Hundreds of people who have been arrested and detained in Chicago area during that Trump administration's immigration crackdown, they're being released. The judge wrote by 12 p.m. Central Time on November 14th with respect to the subset Of 615 individuals discussed on the record, defendants shall provide the court with their names and specify which of the individuals in this group have been identified by defendants as posing a high public safety risk if they were released. The court further orders each individual within the group who is still detained, who does not have a high public safety risk, designation to be released from detention upon payment of a $1,500 bond. Now, that's movement. I know that a lot of people won't be able to afford that, but I have a feeling there's things set up here in this fine city that probably, you know what I mean, that cover
Yeah.
people's bonds if they're being held unconstitutionally. I have a feeling.
Right. And so, you can't really, if you're not going to deport them and
You can't hold them.
Especially if they should be able to be out on bond, because the Trump administration is trying this no bond for immigrants thing.
Right.
It's illegal. And as I mentioned, people are sifting through these 23,000 Trump Epstein emails. Again, I'm not sure if Republicans released this to keep us busy for the next couple of days, or if they released it because they're breaking with Trump.
That's a good question.
Because it was the Dems that released those 3 really damning emails, especially the one with the redacted victim that spent hours with Trump at Epstein's house. And then the Republicans turned around and released 23,000. But more and more horrific shit is coming out as people are going through these emails. There's one where an unknown person emails Epstein and says, "This will all blow over. They're really just trying to take down Trump and doing whatever they can to do that." And Epstein replies, "It's wild because I am the one able to take him down." There's another where Michael Wolff emails Epstein and says, "I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to your house, that gives you valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt." Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say, "Jeff's a great guy and has gotten a raw deal, and he's a victim of political correctness," which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime. So that's Michael Wolff emailing Epstein. Let's see if he wins. If he does, he owes you a debt. If not, you can let him hang himself on this one.
I have feelings around Michael Wolff right now. I'm sort of he's got so much information. I love that he's coming forward with some of it, but I'm pretty disgusted that he has all this information and tapes and hours of interviews with Epstein. And if he's keeping him to release a book or for television rights or something, it's hard because I appreciate what he's doing. At the same time, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, we're going to talk on Monday's Beans about him specifically, because he had a lot. He seemed to be like, there's a Guardian article that says how Michael Wolff aspired to be part of the elite circles that he wrote about. The writer, who features prominently in newly released Epstein emails, has achieved extraordinary access but faces questions about his journalistic ethics. We're going to talk about that in more detail. I'm glad you brought that up, because I was like, where was all this in 2016? Where was this in 2019? Where was this when it might have been useful? There was an email from Michael Wolff saying, "Hey, do you feel like right before Hillary Clinton, the election in 2016, where he's like, 'Hey, we can take down Trump. You wanna?' And Epstein said no, and they didn't."
Yeah.
Like, that's just, I'm not so sure about.
Like I said, mixed feelings.
Yeah, precisely. There was also an email where Epstein emailed Tom Barrack. Remember him?
Yep.
And he said, "Send photos of you and child. Make me smile." Ugh. There's one where Epstein tells Larry Summers, "I have met some very bad people. None as bad as Trump. Not one decent cell in his body." So that's Epstein.
If the devil says that about you, like the literal devil incarnate says that about you, you have lost the plot. You have lost your soul. You have lost the plot.
Mm-hmm. There's one from Epstein to a New York Times reporter named Landon Thomas that said, "Would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen?" He was like, "Yeah, but I guess he never published them." And then another to the same reporter saying, "He feels alone and is nuts. I told everyone from day one, he's evil beyond belief, mad, and most thought I was speaking metaphorically. It's obvious he could crack. Stormy Daniels? Lies after lies after lies."
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I can't believe this son of a bitch is the president of the United States.
And all
All
of these
right.
reporters keeping it all a secret.
Yep. And speaking of this guy, he has withdrawn his application to avoid fully funding SNAP. This is Trump. Because the government shutdown has ended, and those benefits will be funded through September of next year, providing that there's not another government shutdown at the end of January when we go through this whole thing all over again. So we will see what happens there. But yeah, he really just doesn't want to pay for food for the people that need it in this country. And he's not paying for it, by the way. I didn't mean him. Release the taxpayer money that has been budgeted for that.
Yeah, and I don't know if people realize that this whole funding shutdown thing, it only funds the government through the end of January. That's it. And then we have to do this whole dance again. Next up from NBC, Bill Pulte has referred California Democratic Rep Swalwell to the Justice Department for a potential federal criminal probe based on allegations of mortgage and tax fraud related to Swalwell's D.C. home. I'm sure this has to do with, is it a second home? Is it a vacation home? Is it, first of all, Bill Pulte was under investigation for how he got these mortgage records for Lisa Cook and Tish James and Adam Schiff and probably Swalwell.
Yep.
And those people that were investigating Bill Pulte have been fired. So this is all just massive corruption. Harry Dunn and I are going to cover this in more detail on the next Clean Up on Aisle 45 podcast. And we're going to cover all those mortgage fraud charges. And like I said, by the way, this is an impeachable offense to use a government agency to go after your political enemies. Ask Nixon.
Yeah, he knows a little something about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. All right, last in the quick hits, Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt formally granted clemency to Tremane Wood. He's 46. He was scheduled to die for the stabbing death of a man during a botched robbery in 2002. It is just the second time that the Republican governor has granted clemency during his nearly 7 years in office. He commuted the death sentence to life without parole. Apparently, Wood and his brother both committed the murder, but his brother didn't receive the death penalty. Interesting.
I see.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out too until I got to the end. I feel like they buried the lead on that one, but yeah.
They did. And I was not expecting a Republican governor to commute an execution, but he did. Governor Stitt did. All right, we have more news to get to, but we have to take a quick break. Everybody stick around. We'll be right back with the hot notes.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, everybody. When stress builds up, even simple things can feel overwhelming, and that's why so many people are turning to CBD from CB Distillery. It's a clean, effective way to restore balance and feel like yourself again. I want to thank them for sponsoring this episode and for this discount for you. Get 25% off your entire purchase at cbdistillery.com and use promo code DailyBeans. Now, I came to CB Distillery looking for help with post-workout recovery, and the Relief Stick is the product that hooked me. The cooling sensation lands quickly. It feels amazing after a tough session, and I roll it over sore shoulders and tight calves, and it helps me bounce back. So the next day, I'm not sore. It's about movement, not soreness. I love it. What won me over is that CB Distillery has far more than just a single solution. Their lineup is built to work with your body, whether you want to ease stress, sleep better, focus better, support recovery. I rotate based on what I need each day, and the quality shows up in the formulas. They use premium ingredients. They keep things nice and clean. They skip the fillers and unnecessary additives, and that matters to me when I'm building habits I plan to keep. And it's not just my experience. Over 2 million people have made the switch to CB Distillery, which proves how reliably these products perform. So from recovery to focus, I've seen the results I can feel. If you want a straightforward way to feel better or stay consistent, CB Distillery earns a spot in your routine. So if you're ready for better sleep, less stress, and feeling good in your own skin again, try CBD from CB Distillery. And right now, you can save 25% off your entire purchase. Visit CB Distillery and use promo code DailyBeans. That's cbdistillery.com, promo code DailyBeans. cbdistillery.com. You'll be glad you did. Everybody, welcome back. It's time for the Hot Notes. Hot Notes. All right, we only have 2 stories for the Hot Notes. We're going to split them up a little bit here because they were long but very important. This is from the New York Times. And content warning for sexual assault. She was 17. She was a high school junior in Florida. She was working at McDonald's, and she was living in and out of a homeless shelter, hoping to save up to buy braces. She falsely advertised herself in 2017 as an 18-year-old on a website that matches men looking for companionship with young women looking to make money. What followed would set off a chain of events that would have a dramatic impact on her life and help upend the political career of one of the men she would encounter, Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz was investigated by the Justice Department for child sex trafficking, but never charged. Following the election last year, he was President Trump's first choice to serve as Attorney General. Remember that?
Oh, I do.
But he withdrew and then resigned from Congress under a storm of scrutiny and ethics investigations. Last month, in a response to a request from the McClatchy newspaper chain, a federal judge in Florida unsealed court documents from a related civil case that shed some light on her background. The documents included a description of the girl that said at the time she met Mr. Gaetz, she was a then homeless 17-year-old high schooler. In response to that disclosure, the Times reached out to the lawyer of the girl, Laura Wolf, who agreed to confirm some basic biographical information, providing details for the first time of the girl's circumstances and how it led her to encounter Matt Gaetz. Miss Wolf said her client believed the public should have a fuller understanding of how she'd been victimized. Quote, the vulnerable circumstances most crime victims face are rarely known to the public. Although my client's circumstances were revealed outside of her control, I hope it helps for the public to see a fuller and more human picture of her than the press has reported on to date. She added, power imbalances can be age, but they can also be financial. My client had little economic security, which allowed for financial leverage over her. And of course, Dana, experts in sex trafficking say that the matter involving the girl demonstrates how there is a spectrum of ways that girls and women are exploited. In some cases, the girls or women are physically trapped and unable to escape men who are taking advantage of them. But in other cases, the girls or women find themselves at the whims of more powerful men after turning to sex trafficking out of economic need.
That makes sense.
Now, the girl would emerge as the chief witness against Gaetz in the Justice Department sex trafficking investigation, which ended with the department declining to bring charges. Among the reasons that prosecutors did not move forward was their concern about whether she would be seen as a credible witness after being exposed to cross-examination by defense lawyers, according to people familiar, meaning she was young, she was on ecstasy at the time because Matt Gaetz gave it to her,
Yep.
and she was homeless.
And according to her lawyer, the girl's path meeting Matt Gaetz, it began during her junior year in high school. In December of 2016, she had turned 17. Her parents had been divorced. One of them was so poor that the parent was living in and out of a homeless shelter. And when the girl and her siblings were staying with that parent, they lived with the parent in the shelter. And to make money, the girl worked at McDonald's, but she began looking for other ways to make money and turned to a website, as you said, that advertised itself as a sugar dating website that primarily connected older men and younger women seeking mutually beneficial relationships, according to the report by the House Ethics Committee. Through that website, in April of her junior year in high school, she met Joel Greenberg, a local Florida tax collector who was becoming a dear friend and ally of Matt Gaetz, according to court documents. Mr. Greenberg contacted the girl and they ultimately met at a hotel where they had sex, according to court documents. For that, she was paid $400. In the months that followed, Mr. Greenberg, using his personal credit card and one of the local tax collecting offices he was in charge of, would have sex with her 7 times for money before she turned 18. Often during those encounters, he would give her ecstasy, as we said, and would often pay the girl and other women additional money for taking drugs during sex. Well, on July 15th of 2017, Mr. Greenberg asked the girl and others to attend a party at the home of Chris Dorworth. Chris is a former Republican member of the Florida House of Representatives. Why are they always fucking Republicans? Not all of them, most of them, who at the time worked as a lobbyist for Ballard Partners, which is run by a major Trump fundraiser. Court documents describe the party as involving, and I quote, alcohol, cocaine, middle-aged men, and young, attractive females. Matt Gaetz, who was 35 at the time, 35, almost twice her age, attended the party along with a girlfriend. At the party, the girl who was 17 later testified both cocaine and ecstasy were offered to her. She took the ecstasy and drank, according to court papers. She testified that she danced naked in front of Mr. Dorworth and swam naked in his pool. The ethics committee heard testimony that Gaetz had sex with her twice that evening. He was there with his fucking girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And a court document quotes her as having testified that she had sex with him once on a pool table or air hockey table. She testified that Mr. Dorworth saw Matt Gaetz have sex with her on the game table and then laughed about it with other partygoers. Mr. Dorworth, by the way, has claimed that he was not home at the time, an assertion undercut by phone records that came part of the litigation in the case. So he's a lying piece of shit, too. The girl later told congressional investigators that she saw Matt Gaetz use cocaine that night. Okay. For having sex with him twice, the girl was paid $400, according to testimony she gave the committee. That fall, the girl moved to live with a family member in Texas, according to Miss Wolf. She did not complete her senior year in high school. She continued to work for minimum wage in the food service industry. Ultimately, between the money she made from her interactions with men and in the food service industry, she was able to save up enough money to get braces. From the story, this is so sad. Mr. Greenberg pleaded guilty, we know that, to sex trafficking a minor for having sex with a girl in exchange for money. He was sentenced to a decade in prison, but the department declined to charge Gaetz on this. In 2022, lawyers for the girl sent letters to Matt Gaetz and Mr. Dorworth about whether they would reach a financial settlement with the girl. The girl never sued, but Mr. Dorworth sued the girl, setting off depositions, and in exchange of evidence, Mr. Dorworth would drop the case against the girl, but some of those documents generated by the case, those were given to the ethics committee investigators who later used them in their report. That's what happens when you sue someone, there's discovery, you jackass.
And by the way, that case was dropped by Dorworth a day before Matt Gaetz was supposed to be deposed.
Wow. Now, Fritz Scheller, this is Mr. Greenberg's lawyer, said that throughout the entire ordeal, including the investigations and the civil litigation, it became apparent that the girl was, and I quote, victim that embodied unwavering strength and courage. My God, these fucking disgusting men and women, because I'm talking about people like Ghislaine Maxwell. It's not just the men, it's more men, but it's not just them.
Well, they groom the girls who then become, who work
Absolutely.
for them. All right, our second story is from Propublica, and this isn't the whole story. You can get it all on the Propublica website. On the night of the raid, heavily armed federal agents zip-tied Johnny Manuel Caicedo Ferreira's hands behind his back, marched him out of his Chicago apartment building, and put him against a wall to question him. As a Blackhawk helicopter roared overhead, the slender 28-year-old immigrant from Venezuela answered softly, his eyes darting to a television crew invited to film the raid. Next to Caicedo, masked Border Patrol agents inspected another man's tattoos and asked him if he belonged to Tren de Aragua. That's the Venezuelan gang that the Trump administration has designated a terrorist group. Until that moment, Caicedo's only interaction with the law in his 2.5 years in the U.S. had been a traffic stop 2 weeks earlier for driving without a license or insurance. Chicago police had run a background check on him and found no prior arrests, no warrants, and no evidence that he was in a gang. Caicedo said he had a pending asylum application. He had a steady job at a taco joint. And his girlfriend, whose daughter attended elementary school across the street, lived with him. None of that mattered. The U.S. government paraded him and his neighbors in front of the cameras and called their arrests a spectacular victory against terrorism. But later, after the cameras had gone, prosecutors did not charge Caicedo with a crime. They didn't accuse him of being a terrorist. And after a brief hearing in immigration court, the government sent him back to the country he fled 9 years earlier. Quote, "I lost everything," he said in a phone interview from his mother's home in the Venezuelan city of Valencia. For those fools, everyone from Venezuela is a criminal. Now, Caicedo's quiet deportation contrasted with the drama of his capture during one of the most aggressive and highly publicized immigration raids carried out in the U.S. in recent history. Shortly after midnight, September 30th, 300 agents from Customs and Border Protection, the FBI, and other agencies stormed the apartment complex, 130 units. SWAT teams rappelled from a helicopter, knocked down doors. I mean, they hurled flashbang grenades. They arrested 37 immigrants, most of them Venezuelans, who authorities say were in the country illegally. Agents also zip-tied and, for several hours, detained many U.S. citizens. Soon after, Trump's administration released a slickly produced video of the whole operation. Officials said they'd captured 2 confirmed members of Tren de Aragua, including one on a terrorist watch list. Stephen Miller, White House Homeland Security advisor and architect of the nationwide immigration crackdown, declared that the building was, quote, filled with TDA terrorists, Tremane Wood terrorists, and that the raid had saved God knows how many lives, and that it was one of the most successful law enforcement operations that we've seen in this country.
Unbelievable. Now, this investigation, this Propublica investigation, however, it has found little evidence to support the government's claims. Propublica has discovered the names of 21 of the detained Venezuelan men and women and interviewed 12 of them. We also spoke with dozens of their relatives, friends, and neighbors, and ProPublica reviewed U.S. public record databases and court websites, examined court documents and social media accounts, obtained audio and video recordings made that night, and attended immigration court hearings. Federal prosecutors have not filed criminal charges against anyone who was arrested, nor have they revealed any evidence showing that 2 immigrants arrested in the building even belonged to Tremane Wood. It was bullshit, or even provided their names. ProPublica was nonetheless able to identify one of them. It's Ludwig Jean-Pierre Para Perez, from a press release that did not connect him to the raid. Now, Para denied that he is a member of Tremane Wood. He said, I quote, "I don't have anything to do with that." This guy's 24 years old. He said that during an interview after from an Indiana jail where at least 17 of the men were taken after that raid. He said, "I'm very worried. I don't know why they're saying that. I came here to find a better future for me and my family." ProPublica's reviews of criminal records indicates that Chicago police arrested Parra for drug possession and driving without a license after a traffic stop last year, but the charges were dropped, and there was no other arrest records found for him. As the detained men have gone to immigration court, many have asked to be sent back to Venezuela. ProPublica has observed 8 of their hearings, and not once has a government attorney mentioned any pending criminal charges or membership in Tremane Wood. None. Instead, judges have simply ordered them deported, like Casero, or having granted them voluntary departure, a sign that they are not seen as serious threat and can apply for return to the United States. That building was a predominantly black building in a black area. It was false information, and that's who was zip-tied, many of who was zip-tied and put out in the streets.
It was a propaganda raid. Blackhawks repelling. The ProPublica found there was no need for them to repel from Blackhawks. There was actually no need for them to be there in the first place. There were no Tremane Wood gang members. It was also they could get that video, right?
It feels like on a larger scale, like the fucking tear gas, so he could get his photo op in front of the church with his upside down Bible. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, that's all these are, and there are victims to this. All right, everybody, it's time for some good trouble.
Hey, we're getting into trouble? Yeah, it's fun getting into trouble. It's fun getting into trouble.
All right, so considering this new Epstein file dump, one of the 3 emails released by Democrats said that, when Epstein sent the email, that Donald Trump spent hours with victim's name redacted, at his house. Now, in order to spin this, right-wing media and Republicans are saying that the name behind the redaction bar is Virginia Giuffre. And the reason
she's the only one here not being able to defend herself.
Not only that, but she had said previously that Trump was very nice.
Right. That he did not sexually assault her.
Here's the problem. Virginia Giuffre's name appears multiple times in this tranche of emails, unredacted.
Yeah.
So I would like, if you would take a moment to call your representative in the House.
That's such a good point, my friend.
Whether they are Democrat or Republican, and say, prove it. Lift that redaction bar and show us Virginia Giuffre's name underneath it. Or tell us that you can't because it's not her. And also, if you have a Democratic rep, especially one that happens to sit on the House Oversight Committee, maybe Garcia, something like that, ask them to tell the public that it's not Giuffre's name under the redaction bar. I'm sure they can say that. Because here's the thing. Republicans can't say, well, we can't take the name, we can't lift the redaction bar because we're trying to protect the identity of the person. You've told us with your mouth it's Virginia Giuffre.
Yep.
Prove
It came out of the press secretary's mouth.
Prove it. Yeah, the day she decided not to wear her cross.
Yep.
Around
Always
her neck.
happens.
It burns because you're wicked, Caroline. It burns because you're wicked. All right, everybody, stick around. We're going to be right back with John Fugelsang, followed by the good news. We'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, everybody, whether you're planting right now or just sketching ideas for the spring, Fast Growing Trees makes the yard in your head feel doable. They ship high-quality plants straight to your door, and they're America's largest online nursery with more than 1,600 varieties to choose from. They've been delivering since 2005, so the whole process is smooth. You can browse fruit trees, privacy trees, flowering trees, shrubs, and a lot more without even leaving your couch. Ordering is simple, too. Check out the online plants that you can have show up in a few days, which also makes Fast Growing Trees an easy gift. Their Alive and Thrive guarantee means everything arrives healthy and ready to grow. Every tree and plant is grown here in the United States and cared for by experts before it ships, so it's prepped to settle in the moment it reaches your yard. Personally, I'm thrilled with my guacamole garden. I got a Meyer lemon tree, 2 avocado trees, and some limes. I nearly hired a landscaper to do this, but then I saw the estimate. I decided to do it myself, and it saved me 90% of the cost. I also got to skip the weekend scramble to multiple nurseries that have limited stock. Instead, I was able to open a sturdy, well-packaged plant with clear instructions in my own home. A Fast Growing Trees plant expert even helped me plan spacing and soil prep so I could plant on my schedule, and they also taught me that your avocado tree needs a buddy. So this season, they have the best deals for your yard, including up to half off tons of plants and other deals as well. Listeners to this show, you get 15% off your first purchase when you use the code DailyBeans at checkout. That's 15% off your next purchase at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code DailyBeans at checkout. So now's the perfect time to plant. Use Daily Beans to save today. The offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. And check out the link below in the show notes to support the Daily Beans. You'll be glad you did. Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's Friday on the Daily Beans, which means it's Fugelsang Fridays. That's right. I'm joined by my good friend, New York Times bestselling author of the book Separation of Church and Hate, host of Tell Me Everything on Sirius XM Progress, channel 127. We had Zerlina Maxwell on earlier this week. She's also on that channel.
Very nice.
Also writes John Fugelsang Substack, which I call the Fugelstack, and also has the John Fugelsang Show podcast. He's everywhere. He's every fucking where. He's here. He's there. He's every fucking where. Please welcome John Fugelsang. Hello.
Thank you, Dr. Gill. What a pleasure. Thank you. I just got back from Washington, D.C. We were doing a live show last night, and I got to tell you, it was amazing going through D.C. and seeing National Guard troopers everywhere wearing camouflage to blend in with the D.C. architecture, and they're all heavily armed, and there's thousands of them. And I got to say, I never got distracted from the Epstein files. Never left my mind. I know that's why they're there, and I feel so bad that the troop deployment didn't work for its intended use.
Now, I was talking to Harry just a minute ago, Harry Dunn, former Capitol Police officer.
What a guy.
Former congressional candidate there in Maryland. And, Maryland, Virginia? Maryland. And I was telling him, like, first of all, the release of these files that came out yesterday are everywhere. But I still feel like they're not getting enough coverage. Like, I somehow am not satisfied with the coverage files. It's almost like
it's just beginning, Allison. We're just in the beginning. This is a 15-round fight, and the bell just rang for round 1.
No, I get it, but it's almost like mainstream media doesn't like to talk about salacious things and then congratulates itself for not falling for palace intrigue stories. Does that make sense to you, what I'm saying?
What's called liberal media does that. Conservative media does the opposite. Conservative media does the Bill O'Reilly model, which is, we're going to show you footage of half-naked men wearing leather at pride parades. And isn't this awful? Isn't this terrible for America? Isn't this disgusting? Let's show that footage again. Let's show that footage more to get you more angry. And yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of what is corporate media doesn't want to do it for reasons of good taste, but it's really interesting how their idea of good taste usually coincides with not inconveniencing evil billionaires. Time and time again, whether we're talking about unions or climate policy or not mentioning a lot of the contents of the Epstein files. And as these files come out more, and more will come out, and more will be released, and more people are going to start talking and getting braver, and you're going to start seeing more Republicans put more space between themselves and Donald Trump. In many ways, this release, this tranche, I think it's going to be the permission structure for a lot of these men and women to put a lot of yardage between themselves and comb over Caligula before he stinks up the midterms for them. We're going to see it. I mean, they're so desperate, they had to ask Lauren Boebert to come lend a hand. When you're bringing Lauren Boebert into the Situation Room, my pets can smell the fear.
The Situation Room is interesting. Interesting bit of this story.
Because who leaked it, Dr. Gill? Who leaked that they brought Lauren? But was it? I don't think it was the White House's people,
Boebert.
Right? Yeah,
I'm sure it was Boebert.
If it's Boebert's office leaking to make Trump look bad right after Marge Green is doing it, I mean, my God, Nancy Mace could be the only one he has left.
Right. But the point I wanted to make, first of all, it's an explosive scandal that he's calling Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert to try to get them to take their names off of the Epstein discharge petition. But that little tidbit about the Situation Room, there was another story that came out like a month ago that they were discussing the Epstein stuff in the Situation Room. I find it interesting because the Situation Room is a place where you can't bring any recording devices, and you can't bring your personal cell phone in there at all. So what did he say to her in the Situation Room? Because there has to be a stick part to the carrot and the stick.
Right. There has to be a pro quo to the quid.
Yes. Otherwise, I do this, which I'm assuming is just blow up your career, primary you. But also, she's got to be the most blackmailable person in Congress.
Can you imagine the meeting? Lauren, it's a national emergency. Is it China? No, it's Virginia. Giuffre's deposition. I mean, this is meant to be a space for nuclear threats, not the horny ghost of Jeff Epstein. Oh, these white trash fascists. I mean, and again, most of the Republicans are going to obey him. Like the moral jellyfish they are. They're going to condemn the drag queens, and then when their cult leader's name shows up in the emails of a child sex trafficker, then they're going to be all civil libertarian. But look, here's my thing. I'm not going to get too upset about this. Like I promised myself I wouldn't get too upset about the great Democrat capitulation of the shutdown because I knew we'd forget about it within 48 hours. Just with the Epstein story, it's still just beginning to unfold. I love it when dead rapists destroy living rapists. And I mean, this whole spectacle really proves one thing to me. The Trump fans aren't mad because they were lied to. They're mad because they didn't get the lie they wanted.
Mm-hmm. And here's my concern. The way that the Republicans are actually spinning this is that in that one particular email, there's 23,000 of these, but in that one email, it says, Jeffrey Epstein says that Trump was at his house for hours with redacted victim's name.
Yes.
Now, they're trying to say that redacted victim's name is Virginia Giuffre.
Yeah.
And the reason they want it to be Giuffre is because Giuffre at one point said Trump was always a gentleman and did nothing wrong.
Correct.
And they know that the redaction bar over that victim's name can't be removed.
Correct.
Because it could expose an actual different victim.
Mm-hmm.
And if it were Giuffre, my challenge to Republicans would be then take that black box off of there and show us that it's Virginia Giuffre, because you've already told us it's her, so there's no reason for that to be redacted.
She ain't going to sue you.
And even if we were still trying to protect her name, you've told everybody. You've told everybody it's Giuffre. Prove it. Because I don't think it is, and I think that they're using a different victim in order to spin this particular email. One of 23,000 emails, by the way, but a damning one nonetheless.
And here's the thing. They can try it, and I think your idea is brilliant, and I'm going to steal it from you on SiriusXM tonight. But these emails don't show that Trump raped a child. They just show he was lying about not knowing what was going on. Okay? So lying about sex crimes you didn't report when you could have, That's not what I call innocence. I mean, best case scenario from these emails that we know so far is he knew all about the child rape, and it didn't bother him enough to pick up the phone and call the cops. And he wants to still say that, Epstein stole Virginia Giuffre from him, like the piece of property they view her as. It was never enough for him to pick up the phone and call the cops. I mean, and again, what's really poetic here is Trump's whole life is him getting away with stuff, with the sexual assaults and the cheating and the bankruptcies and the insurrections. And now he is being haunted by a man who can't testify against him. Jeffrey Epstein is this ghost that keeps on snitching, because I'm really most curious, not so much about Trump, but blackmail seems to have been Epstein's entire business model. Epstein collected secrets like NFTs, creepy and useless and ruining famous people. I mean, there's so many rumors about who was Epstein working for. Was he a Mossad agent gathering compromise? It's a million different conspiracy theories. But again, Trump acting really guilty isn't proof that he's guilty, right? But it's like saying a raccoon digging through your trash must be a thief. No, that's just what raccoons do. But when a raccoon calls Congress at 3 a.m. to demand they lock up all the garbage cans and hide them, I wonder what the raccoon's hiding. So, the swamp didn't need draining. The swamp just needed daylight. And that's the message we're getting here. And I want to say one more thing. If you're in a fishing boat off the coast of Venezuela and you're terrified of being blown up by an American drone, just announce that you're in the Epstein files and Trump will protect you forever. We know this now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that goes along with pretty much everybody he's pardoned, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just, again, I mean, John, all of them. I mean, everyone, John Brennan needs to come out and say this. And Tish James, just say you're in the Epstein files. He'll protect you. And Trump is still like, he can't answer the questions. If he's brilliant, he's trying to act really guilty so there can be nothing there. But why are you wasting time on that creep? Like that's what he's saying. It's like, imagine Eichmann at Nuremberg saying, why are we still talking about the long dead Führer? I mean, this guy is running away from accountability, Allison, like it's a salad. He is so desperate to bury this story. He's going to fire Pam Bondi and replace her with a shovel. This didn't happen under Bill Barr. As I like to say, Bill Barr covered up more shit than cat litter. And at this point, poor Jeff Epstein, he killed himself and didn't realize it was a hoax.
Yeah. And poor Andrew, excuse me, not Prince Andrew, Andrew. I'm sure his titles were stripped and he was kicked out of one peppercorn place, for nothing.
I know, and now Andrew has to settle for living an incredible taxpayer-funded luxury for the rest of his life. But at least they smack him down. The UK is showing us they're not afraid of smacking down their own celebrity fake rulers and figureheads. So God bless the king for doing this. I'm sure it wasn't very easy, but I want to see us doing a copycat on this. I would love to see powerful men terrified of raping children. It'd be a nice little bit of progress. But again, I mean, this is Trump, and we have to be mindful of the fact this is right after the shutdown. Now that the shutdown's over, and we can grumble about Democrats capitulating, but now's the time the bad stuff's going to happen. The premiums are going to go up, and maybe this shutdown and the Democrats screaming made enough people aware of who to blame for that when it happens. 15 to 20 million low-income and disabled Americans are about to lose their Medicaid coverage if this whole thing works. We can be mad the Democrats traded all this away for the promise of another promise in 3 months, but the Epstein files are only going to make it harder for the independents that are clinging to supporting this guy to stay on. He'll have the cult, and the cult is what it's always going to be. And Republicans are always going to have about a third of us no matter what. But he's hemorrhaging the independents right now. And my God, I wish we could have the election with Kamala Harris again tomorrow. I have never seen a guy blow it in his first year like this. And I'm taking bets over whether he'll still be president by the time the midterms come, because this guy did not help them in 18. He didn't help him in 22, and he really didn't help him last week. I keep thinking the Republicans and the oligarchs don't need this embarrassment around much longer.
Yeah, I wish we could have snap elections here.
Right? Like the UK?
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be wonderful? I want to shift gears a little bit since, we don't have too much more time, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this very rare rebuke of mass deportation that Pope Leo told the archbishops to put out this very rare statement. Given your background, your book, your New York Times bestselling book, I was very interested in your opinion on this. I've never seen anything like this.
I love it. I mean, I'm so inspired by it. You have to realize, I've said this before on your show, I think, but this administration is so evil. They're making all of us cheer for the Catholic bishops and Harvard University.
Columbia. And
I mean,
right.
you know, but this Pope is really giving me a lot of reasons to have hope for the future. This Pope was elected by the bishops that Francis picked. So I'm really excited about this guy picking the bishops who'll pick the next Pope, because we could be on the verge of an incredible epoch of decency from the Holy Roman Empire. What impresses me the most about what the Catholic bishops are doing is it's not just that they're rebuking the Trump administration's deportation campaign, and it's not just that it's almost totally unanimous. They said, we feel compelled now in this environment to raise our voices in defense of God-given human dignity. What's impressive about this is they unveiled the You Are Not Alone program. So it's not just a statement. This is a program that they have put out that lays out ways for any American Catholics to provide direct aid and solidarity to migrants and immigrants. And this comes from the Bible. Now, I'm very fond of saying there is no way you can support Trump and claim to follow Jesus. But on immigration alone, the God of the Old Testament commands his followers to welcome the stranger, commands the Israelites to treat the alien as one of your own. And Jesus shows up in Matthew 25 and says, individuals and nations will be judged, heaven or hell, by how they welcome the stranger. So it's not just that the Catholic Church
But isn't that all canceled out by the Old Testament? Isn't it all just
No, in this level, not by with the homophobes, they'll try that. But in this case, the only laws in the entire Bible about borders or immigration are the commandments to welcome the stranger. And when you're having dinner with your loved ones this Thanksgiving and they pull this shit, you bring up, Old Testament God commands us to treat the alien as one of our own. Jesus says you go to hell if you don't welcome the stranger well enough. Why should I listen to you, Uncle Racist, and reject God and Jesus? But what's most impressive about this, Allison, to me is, as someone who was raised very Catholic and has been at churches all around this country, I no longer kiss the ring, but I'll praise the Catholic Church when it's due. They're the greatest force on earth organizationally against the death penalty, against poverty, calling for health care. Even Benedict, even an old
Right.
like Benedict demanded that every nation provide health care to their citizens regardless of their ability to pay. But it's a business, right? The Catholic Church is a business. And when I was a kid, I'd be down south and I'd have the conservative preachers, and I'd go up to the NYU Catholic Center and have the liberal ones. And they do that for a solid business reason, because the job is getting people to open up their wallets and pocketbooks and put more money in the basket. So yeah, you send the homophobic ones out to the homophobic terrorist counties, and you send the liberal ones out to the cities. And that's the church's business model, right? The job is to get the money from the old ladies. This is Pope Leo saying, I don't really care if y'all Catholic racists don't want to put money in a concession plate this week. I don't care if those of you who hate migrants are going to withhold their support from me or the church. This is what the Bible says. God damn it. This is what Jesus commands and what God commands, and he's actually walking the walk, even if it affects the Vatican's financial bottom line. And to me, Dr. Gill, that's been the most amazing part of this entire spectacle. In addition to the inspiring level of seeing these bishops showing up, especially in the San Diego diocese, to provide solidarity with migrants, because ICE cowards won't tackle a migrant when there's a goddamn bishop standing next to him. This is what the church is supposed to be doing. And if the church is interested in surviving and lasting, well, sex hang-ups and being shitty to women and siding with empire and pretending that the Bible's against abortion and being mean to gay people, that shit's not popular with young people. But fighting oppression, fighting for justice, fighting for the least of us, that's really popular, along with dropping the sex hang-ups. You want your church to survive in this century? You want young people to feel like your church has some moral authority and guidance? Show up like this. Instead of wagging a finger for people's private lives, show up in public and fight for the dignity of all human beings. I mean, they're doing it. Democrats, take note. Put your body in the movement, man. I'm happy to praise the Catholic Church on this, and I'll criticize them all day long for the stuff they're wrong about. But this is how you save organized religion, and this is how you do the right thing, because if you're on our soil, you're allowed to claim asylum. I'm sorry to get all conclavey, but these guys make me want to flip a table.
So what you're telling me is that it's a better business model to ignore your donors to serve the people and do the right thing.
Long term, what are your plans? Do you want to make a bunch of old folks who are racist and going to die off in the next 2 decades feel like you've got their back? Or do you want to reach out globally to an America that's going to get browner and less uniform, whether the white supremacists like it or not? I mean, this Pope is looking long term for the Catholic Church.
Yeah, of course, but I think you missed my wink and a nod that ignoring the donors to serve the people is also a very good message for the Democratic Party.
Thank you. You're right. My God, I'm sorry. I'm heavily medicated right now, but you're exactly right. Because that's brave. And you know what? Being brave might cost you a little bit in the short term, but they'll respect you. They won't remember
it won
you if you played it
overwhelmingly
safe.
last Tuesday.
Right? It won overwhelmingly across the boards. Look at every district in Virginia. And I think most Democrats know it. This is not the time for timidity, not the time for playing it safe. I'm sorry to see all my favorite 80-year-olds leaving Congress. I will miss Jan Schakowsky, Bonnie Watson-Coleman breaking my heart she's leaving. But the reality is going to be that the next Democratic Congress is going to look a lot different from this one. And the ones who are going to fight are going to be the ones who succeed and inspire.
I agree. And I will say this, that, this is a small handful of people in the Democratic Party, and it's up to us to primary them out. And if they don't, if your chosen candidate doesn't win the primary, we still got to vote for the Democrat, because a Democrat that takes a donor Democrat is better than a Republican any day. But it's us. It's our party. We can have nice things. That, I think, is the takeaway from Tuesday. And no matter what those 8 Democrats did this week, that is the lesson going forward.
I agree. And Republicans are not going to be showing up in big numbers next year. And independents are not going to go and stop and burn gas to go vote after work before going home for this party next year. This is going to be the big chance. I don't care who's running for president. I don't want to hear any what-if speculations about it. It's all about the Congress, and it's all about electing people who promise to drag this cabinet in front of cameras and put their hands on Bibles and testify. I mean,
Please.
Law and order comes back in 2027. That's the Democratic messaging.
And these DHS assholes, these secret police, bring them unmasked in front of the people.
Very much. Thank you. I'd like to see a law about that. It's legal to film law enforcement doing their job in all 50 states, and they know it. If you've ever watched Watchmen on HBO, which is excellent programming. I mean, just the best comic book TV ever about racism, but it's brilliant. The sequel to the comic book Watchmen. And in that, the world, it's gotten so bad in the future that cops wear masks to hide their identity. And it seems so preposterous at the time. We're already there in less than 5 years. And again, it's not popular. And just like the church, this shit's not popular with young people. So you're thinking beyond? I mean, abusing immigrants and trans people is not going to be a good look in 20 years. They're going to be ashamed of how awful this administration was. And I think it's good for all of us to make as much noise, to put as much space between them and us right now, just like Lauren Boebert's doing.
Oh, my God. Bobes.
Oh, man.
We have a Beetlejuice musical. And
oh, I love that Trump asked her to reach across the aisle and give him a hand, huh? How about
hey-oh,
that?
hey-oh.
Oh, yeah.
In the situation room, my friend, the sit room, if you will.
So
all right.
Funny. Well,
all right. Yeah.
Hey,
well,
can I do a plug?
It's always
Allison?
good to see you, but I was just going to ask you. You've got you just got back from D.C. Tell us what you were doing.
I am so exhausted. I'm writing another book. I just got off the Nation cruise and just drove down to D.C. We did a show last night at Union Stage for the book. It's a book tour, but it's stand-up, but it's in a rock and roll club. And it's the Separation of Church and Hate tour. We filmed it last night in front of a dynamite live audience, and we do a very special Q&A in the second half with Mr. Glenn Kirshner, who came all the way to D.C. to sit down and do a talk back with us. And it's really fun. It's really blasphemous. We do include a very special tribute to Dick Cheney. J.D. Vance is not spared as well. And it's everything that made this book the #1 on the New York Times blasphemy charts, which I didn't even know they had a blasphemy chart, but I'm so thrilled to be on it. So anyway, this was filmed last night in D.C. It's going to premiere Saturday night, the 15th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Woo. You go to meethook.live. That's meethook.live/John F. And I'd love to have you all there.
Amazing. I look forward to it. And I know a bunch of people also will as well. And to make sure to not only check that out, but to, find where you're going to be appearing around the country to talk about your book and have more book talks. So thank you so much, my friend, for joining us. I hope everybody tunes in to Tell Me Everything on Sirius XM Progress, channel 127, weeknights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. And of course, if you haven't gotten your copy or listened to your copy of The Separation of Church and Hate, it's a New York Times bestseller. It's hard. It's flying off the shelves still. A very powerful book and very well written. I appreciate your time today, my friend. We will see you next week.
You're the best, and you make it look easy. Thanks, Dr. Gill.
Thank you. Everybody will be right back with the good news.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Everybody, welcome back. It's time for the good news.
Who likes good news? Everyone? Then good news, everyone.
Good news, good news. And boy, do we need your good news. So
yes,
please,
we do.
Send it all to us, no matter how big, no matter how small, whether it happened today or 25 years ago. Send it to us, dailybeanspod.com. Click on contact. It can be good news, a great story, some nice memory that you can share with us that we can all, kind of microdose on your hope for a minute. You can send us a favorite joke, misheard song lyrics, pronunciation corrections, confessions, shout outs to people, loved ones, self shout outs. Shout outs to nonprofit organizations, great activism going on in your community, a small business that could use a boost, a government program that's helped you or a loved one. Please send us all of your good news to dailybeanspod.com and click on contact. All you got to do to get your stuff read on the air is pay your pod pet tariff. And that means attach a photo of your pet. We can try to guess the breeds in your shelter pup and which breeds watched. We're not very good at it, but we love to try anyway. If you don't have a pet, send an adoptable pet in your area. If you don't have that, just grab a random photo of an animal on the internet or send us some family photos, baby pictures, awkward family pictures, Halloween costumes, anything like that. You can send us pictures from rallies, some great signs you've seen, maybe some freeway overpass good trouble that you've seen. You can send your good trouble suggestions to us. Photos of what you're making and creating. We would love to see all of it. Send it to us, dailybeanspod.com. Click on contact. First up from Sean, rhymes with heron. Oh, Saren. Why did I say Sean? Okay.
And then you said, hold on, don't edit that because you said, this sounds... Let's start with Sean, rhymes with heron.
Okay. Pronoun she and her. And by the way, we received many responses to this question that we asked. Hello, my good news is that I was a wildlife biologist, so I can confirm that Allison is correct about cats potentially getting impregnated by multiple males.
Amazing.
Whoop, whoop.
Cat orgies.
Cats are not monogamous. This is why we get along so well. So if more than one male mates with a female while the female is fertile, sperm from all the males can fertilize the eggs.
Oh my God.
Cats usually have litters of multiple kittens, which means more than multiple sperm. There is no reason that the sperm from only one male would necessarily be the only ones that made it to the finish line.
Can we please stop saying sperm? How many times does it have to be in one submission?
I don't see it again, but
okay,
we'll see.
I'm kidding.
Sperm. I feel like Monty Python. Spam, sperm. Give me sperm, wonderful sperm. Oh, and I can also answer the question about using the Latin names in science. It's because it standardizes the language. Common names are often inconsistent and used for multiple forms, making it confusing to differentiate between forms. The Latin names are standardized so that there's no confusion about what you're referring to. I sadly haven't any pets in many years. Haven't had them due to my financial and health issues interfering with properly caring for them. But I am including an old picture of one of the many cats I had. This one is Mango. He was a gentle sweetheart.
Oh,
Sarah, and he looks just like my cat, Rusty. Russell T. Cat who was like part Turkish. He was a stray. We found him, and just the sweetest cat. I have to know, Sarah, was he cool with water? Because my cat that looked like that loved the water, which is weird for cats. But thank you for confirming all of that science
This picture
stuff.
is also so great because obviously we know where his head is and he looks like he's stretching. But if you look at the bottom, it also looks like they're stretching, like a head that is with his arms over the head, like with just a little fuzzy face, a little bearded face.
Right, like a two-headed cat.
Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
All right. This next one's from Sally, pronouns she and her. This is in response to you wondering if it's possible for one litter of kittens to have more than one baby daddy. The answer from my veterinarian is yes. The proof is in the pictures I have attached. We have an extremely feral mama that we have looked after for about last 5 to 6 years in the vicinity of our house. We have 3 kittens of hers, each from different litters. The second to the last litter of kittens that she had before we were able to trap her and have her spayed was definitely the result of 2 different sperm donors. There were 3 kittens in the litter. 2 short hair orange boys that were from dad number 1, which is a tiger king, and a little beautiful girl, Ella, a long hair gray muted tortoiseshell kitten from dad number 2. The feral mama, yes, that is what we have named her, is in the first picture. A beautiful long-haired orange lady. Look closely, and you can see her last kitten she ever had, Josie, is peeking out from underneath her.
Oh.
Picture number 2 is...
Sally.
Oh my God, Sally, I love you. Picture number 2 is pre-gangbang. Mama and the little black cat in the picture were both in heat at the same time. Both ended up with litters of kittens from the incident. You can see in the additional picture of the 3 kittens in the litter in question that the boys and Ella are completely different cats. This is what got me wondering what the multiple dads question as well. I thought I had heard that could happen with cats. I think this is proof in my book. We kept Ella and her brothers were adopted together by a friend. Thanks for all you do. Please get some rest. And I want to tell everyone first of all, the pictures are fantastic and these are all the cats. I got to tell you, while Allison and I were joking, if you know my heart, you know that the moment that joke came out of my mouth, I went, oh my God, are gangbangs consensual? And I had to Google it. Allison, I didn't tell you that. I had to Google it while we were talking because there was so much of the episode that was so funny around this. And thank God that Google said yes, gangbangs can be consensual because I didn't want to trigger anyone. I didn't want there to be an issue. So I want you to know, every listeners, that I actually made sure it was okay because I panicked for a moment because every once in a while something comes out and then I'm like, I'm not sure if that was PC. Whew. Thank the baby Jesus. Everyone's okay.
Yeah, of course. You could have just asked. I mean, it's all over porn, right?
Dana, you could have just asked. It's all over the porn I watch.
Chitty Chitty Gangbang is a classic.
I'm
kidding. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Chitty Chitty Gangbang. Little Thomas the engine that could, over and over and over.
And Sally, we have Saren, the wildlife biologist, confirming. So
exactly. So I just want everyone to know that I did have a panic moment, but I Googled myself just in case we had to take it all out of the episode.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, all right. From Louise, she, her, and Ken, he, him. Hi, leaders of the Leguminati. We attended our second No Kings protest last weekend in Northern California. All in all, this is our 5th protest. We like to hope it's our last, but that's in the hands of coronary blockages, not ours. We were inspired to make it obvious that while we don't support the current administration, we do believe that only nonviolent protest is the answer and that we are not paid by Soros. We're not pro-Hamas. We're not Marxists. We decided the best approach to make this clear would be to take a page from the amphibious protesters in Portland, and so donned our inflatable axolotl suits. See attached photo. Oh my God. So I haven't scrolled yet, but now I want to scroll to just go see. But I'll wait. We were photographed by the local newspaper and didn't think much of it when it appeared the next morning, but were surprised when someone reached out from Illinois to say they saw the photo in an article on Fox News. For our pod pet tariff, we've attached some photos of Baxter. We found him wandering around our neighborhood last July, and he was in pretty bad shape. He was very thin and missing a large chunk of fur on his left haunch. And we took him to the vet for a health check, and they discovered he was chipped, so couldn't do anything until they contacted the owner. The vet called the number on the chip, and the person said, yeah, that's my dad's dog, but I haven't talked to him in years and don't want to contact him. A second number didn't pick up, nor return the vet's call. So we eventually got possession of Baxter so we could have him treated, only to find out 2 weeks later he had whipworm and heartworm. We talked about what to do and decided to start him on heartworm treatment. It's expensive, but he's such a gentle soul that we couldn't see leaving him to an uncertain future. Fortunately, X-rays showed no damage to his heart or lungs. Currently, he's about 3 months through his treatment, but he's doing fine, and we hope he'll be worm-free in December. His fur has grown back, and he's even put on some weight. Our problem is we already have an abandoned dog who has anxiety issues. He's on Prozac and Xanax, and we live in a house with basically no yard. We'd love to keep Baxter, but he deserves to be in a home with less stress and more outdoor space. He is posted on Adopt a Pet, and we're hoping a listener can help us find him a forever home. We're willing to transport him to anywhere in California, Western Nevada, or Southern Oregon. Of course, we had our suspicions of what breeds he might be, so we did a DNA test. We await your expert ruminations, opinions, or outright wild guesses. First of all, check him out.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh my God, he's so cute. Let's see. Boxer, Pity, American Bulldog, Rhodesian Ridgeback, and Chow Chow. What are your guesses?
I'm definitely Pity. I'm going to say that there is some Beagle in there, Chow Chow, and Lab.
A lab. Okay, let's look behind the redaction bars. Staffy,
Nice.
Pitbull,
Well done.
Bull Terrier,
Okay.
and Boxer. I got 2.
Nice job.
All right.
Oh, God, this pup is so cute.
He's adorable. Look at these great axolotl outfits, by the way.
Love it.
Love you guys. Thank you,
All right.
Ken and Louise.
We got Red Hot Peppery, pronouns she and her. Dearest Beans Queens, on October 29th, Rachel wrote in the good news. She is selling her handmade chunky knits and donating all her profits to Merrimack Valley Food Bank. I clicked on the link in the show notes and it took me to Sleepy Cat Knits. I zeroed in on a stunningly beautiful crimson and ivory blanket. My mom is notoriously difficult to buy gifts for, so the blanket will be hers for Christmas. She will love the blanket, the lovely workmanship, and the donation to the food bank. Thank you,
Aw.
Rachel.
I
Well, I
love
don't-
this.
I know, me too. While I don't knit or crochet, I do sew. I don't sell my creations, but I do love to show them off. My bonus daughter asked me to make her wedding dress, and I immediately said yes. 80 yards of tulle, and net later, this is the result. I used fabric left from making my own wedding dress to make pockets as a little surprise for her. Yes, because all dresses need pockets. I have 2 self-made daughters, and they know I will make their dresses when, or if, I'm not assuming, they get married. No lie, the cat was actually watching when my oldest was created. She has the same amount of cat-like qualities as Troy has greyhound qualities.
So just a hint.
Oh my God, our people are funny. As my pod pet Tariff, I present Carl and Barbara. Carl is the old man black cat, and he's an asshole. He pees on everything. He's 15, and I swear he's going to live to 25 just to ruin more of my stuff, but we still love him. Barbara is my COVID kitten, and she was very displeased when I had to go back to work in the office. She loves to help me sew by diving under patterns and fabric and stealing my pins. Yes, she has heterochromia. Heterochromia. Think chromia. Just put a little flair on it. Thanks for starting my workday off on a positive note every morning. Oh my God, this happy couple, that dress is stunning. It's so like 50s wedding dress and it's gorgeous. So retro.
Right. That is it. As they say, here's your movie quote for today to guess about. That dress is an Audrey Hepburn movie. Oh, it's so great. Okay, so there's the asshole cat. And there's the heterochromia cat. Look at him sitting like a person. I love it. All right, next up. I'm good. You'll probably fuck yo my name. What?
Okay.
All right. Hey, longtime listener from Norway here. Here's a pronunciation, affirmation, positive reinforcement. Good job on the name of the Norwegian Prime Minister Jagland. Correct on both the J and the G. And the right as well. They're just a bit shorter and of equal weight. Oh, okay. All right. The right A's as well. Jagland. Now, as to what he was doing with Epstein, who the fuck knows? He defended himself in Norwegian media today by characterizing it as normal diplomacy. But Norwegian media have been on that relationship before too, and then it was just conspiracies. While Norwegian media are digging into this and the Crown Prince's relationship to Epstein again, you can have fun with his first name, Thorbjorn. He's not an unimportant player, having also been the Secretary General of the Council of Europe for 10 years and a member of the Nobel Committee. I heard about that. I was reading about that in some Norwegian media. Thank you very, very much. I'm very curious as to what your name is, though. That's where you probably fuck his name up. That's probably why he put that in. I'm good with the name. I'm good. I'm not going to tell you. You'll probably fuck it up. Is it Thorbjorn? I like to think it's Thorbjorn. You let us know.
All right. This is from Janine, pronounced she and her. A year ago this month, we got world-changing news. My husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He began chemo, underwent a complicated 10-hour surgery, had more chemo, and we readmitted to the hospital twice with infections and had to get a feeding tube while doing more chemo. So this week, we got the amazing news that his scan is clear and he's cancer-free. This is incredible. During this time, I walked off my stress while listening to the Daily Beans every day to keep me sane. Thank you for being on this journey with me. So please help me celebrate this joy. Every day forward is a bonus day. So please take time to enjoy the simple things, focus on what's good, and love the people in your lives. My pet tax is Pete, the best beagle ever, and photos of us at a recent dressy event, living each day to the next. Janine, you both look fantastic, and this is such a wonderful submission. And that beagle, oh my God, cutie pie.
Beautiful couple. The
Yeah.
beagle's giving me side eye. I'm very sus to this beagle. But thank you for that, Janine. I'm glad that, we could be with you in some certain way, during all of this. Just incredible. What good news. Congratulations. Finally, our last submission here. Anonymous. Dana, perhaps one of your show managers in Chicago can organize a flock of birds watching pick?
Bird watching pick.
Flock of birds watching pick before the early show or after the late one. Is it close to the building?
It's not as close as this person would think of, like, let's just go outside and do it. I think it's a pretty good walk, but not a bad idea.
That would be fun, just to kind of in the afternoon schedule a...
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fun idea. By the way, yesterday, while I was going through the good news, boop, your picture comes up. Bird watching photo, Trump Tower in Chicago. Thank you for that laugh. I needed it. I needed it.
My pleasure.
Everybody, what a wonderful way to end the week. It's been a week of ups and downs. Thanks for hanging in there with us. We'll be back in your ears on Monday. Andy and I will be on the Unjustified podcast Sunday, where he's going to confirm that he got a subpoena from this Department of Justice. We have a bonus episode of Clean Up on Aisle 45 with Harry this weekend. I'll be on the breakdown on Midas on Sunday. And then to all our patrons, we will see you in a bit on the Beans Talk. We appreciate you so very much. Send all your good news to us, dailybeanspod.com. Click on contact. Any final thoughts today?
Not for today.
All right, everybody. We'll be back in your ears Monday. Until then, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of the planet, take care of your mental health, and take care of your family. I've been AG.
I've been DG.
And them's the Beans.
The Daily Beans is written and executive produced by Allison Gill, with additional research and reporting by Dana Goldberg. Sound design and editing is by Desiree McFarlane, with art and web design by Joelle Reeder with Moxie Design Studios. Music for The Daily Beans is written and performed by They Might Be Giants, and the show is a proud member of the MSW Media Network, a collection of creator-owned podcasts dedicated to news, politics, and justice. For more information, please visit mswmedia.com.
MSW Media.